Hello, I'm going to be showing you through level 5 of the Good and the Beautiful Language Arts and Literature curriculum. Um, I just done a video for level 3. If you're interested in seeing that walkthrough, I will have a link up here and also down below in the description box if you would like to see level 3. But this is our first time using this, I guess. We started using it at the beginning of February, and this is the middle of April. And so we've been using it about, 2.5 months now. And we're liking it pretty good. The kids aren't complaining, which they don't really complain anyhow, but they seem to be liking it fine. It's easy, it's doable. So I'm just going to walk you through level 5, just like I done in the other video for level 3. So, hope you enjoy. I will have links to this in the description box below. This whole set is level 5, and I ordered the whole set. So if you order the actual set, then this is what you get. Okay? You will get the course book. This is the actual workbook that the student, does all the lessons in. You will get the course companion, and this is a pretty good size, and this is a nice little book to, just to keep around. I'll get into that in a minute, but it contains your spelling, poetry. It has some maps on it with certain continents or countries filled in. It has grammar rules, spelling rules, just a whole bunch of, references that the kid may need. Then the kid gets 2 readers. Okay, they get the shared reader, which is, it's called shared because the child is supposed to read it with the parent. However, my daughter, she's a very good reader. She just reads this on her own. And then you get a personal reader, which the child reads after this book, but they read this on their own. But this book, however, does not start until I think it's lesson 68. So she has not read this one yet because we're on lesson 47, 50, something like that. Okay. And then you also get geography cards and grammar cards. So you get a set of them. You can see there's quite a bit, if I can get it without making them fall one-handed. There's quite a bit, and then I also have some more in a Ziploc bag. I will get to that in a minute. So there's geography cards and grammar cards, and these are flashcards. So these cards are to be used for levels 4 all the way through level 7. Okay, and you can see here the directions tell you to separate them into Ziploc bags labeled learning, mastered, or not learned. So I've done that. But each card, like the grammar cards, they all have a question. That this is the side the student sees, the question, and then the question is also on the back with the answer as well. Just flip through some of these. This one here, what is a direct object? It has the question again, and it tells you the answer. Some of them will also have examples. And then there are various types of geography cards. There's the state ones. You can see it has the state name on the back. So there's 50 of those. Then there's also country ones. So the asterisk there is asking the student what country that is, and the answer's on the back. They also have them for oceans as well. And then they also have some like this. This one says point to these certain states and name the capital of each one. Here's another one that tells you to point to the following states. Gives you the answers there. Talks about the 13 colonies. Trying to find an ocean one in here for you. Here's some different countries in the continent of Asia. So you can see that. And the continents here have the world. The answers on the back. I was hoping to Okay, I found them. Okay, so here's just a card here for like what ocean is that. See the word ocean there? It's asking the child what ocean that is, and it's the Indian Ocean. And then this one here, the Middle East. What are those countries? And it also gives the name. Okay, and like I said, there's more. I have them in a Ziploc bag, and I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, so before I actually show you what's in here, let me tell you why we have level 5. Okay, so I done another video and I showed you level 3 that my 4th grader is using. And level 5, this one, my 7th grader is using. The levels do not go by grade level. So level 5 does not mean, only 5th grade. Each level kind of combines 2 grades. And I think level 5 is 5th grade and 6th grade. I think that's what it is. Anyhow, so let me tell you why I chose to do level 5. Okay, you can go to their website, and I will also have a link below to this as well. She has placement tests on there, or I think she calls them assessment test. So what you do is, it's a very, very short test. So the child takes the test, basically. The test consists of, read all these words as fast as you can. And if the child passes that, then they move on to the next section, which is just a few little questions. When my 7th grader done that test, I don't really know how to say this. Everything on that test she has learned before. Like when she was in 6th grade and we were doing Bob Jones English, she had learned all of that, had aced all of that, no big deal, knew it. Okay, she knew all of it. Well, at the last semester, or the last, I guess, 2 months anyway, of her 6th grade year, we quit doing Bob Jones because I wanted to do more of a Charlotte Mason approach. Okay, so, we just kind of done our own thing. And then she's in 7th grade. So like the whole summer went by, no school because we were moving. And then the first semester and up until January of her 7th grade year, we still were doing, we started off doing a Charlotte Mason language, but then somewhere around Thanksgiving, Christmas, we just kind of quit doing language. I don't know, life and just moving and trying to adjust up here and all this stuff. Language just did not happen. So the first week in February, whenever I decided to test her on this, she hadn't had any formal language for about a year. Okay, so everything that was tested on the placement test, I knew that she had known before and she knew at one time, but she forgot. She aced the reading part, the timed everything, but there was a couple questions that she couldn't remember. She knew she learned them, but she couldn't quite remember what they were. And at that point, I needed to decide if I should just go ahead and put her in level 7, which is where I was testing her at, and she would have been perfectly fine because I knew that if she just got a refresher, that she would pick right back up with it and remember it. Or should I go ahead and put her in level 5 because she doesn't like English. She's good at it, but she doesn't like it. And I was thinking, well, it's a new curriculum to us. She doesn't like it to begin with. So maybe I should just go ahead and just stick her in this. That way, she can ease herself back into it. And because I had no idea if this would be really hard or not. So that's why I decided to go ahead and put her in level 5. Just that the table looks a little different now. I started filming this video a couple weeks ago and I had to quit. So I'm trying to pick back up with it now. So that's why it looks different. Okay, something else I did not have out in the last video was this three-ringed binder. In the course book, there are lessons for writing, and they recommend that you have a 3-ringed binder to put your your writing assignments in. So that's what this is. Okay, I showed you about the geography cards, and it said to... Okay, so these geography cards, it comes as one stack, grammar and geography cards, and they are used for levels 4 through 7. So you need this same set of cards for levels 4 through 7. And it tells you to separate them into 3 Ziploc bags. Label one bag as not learned. So these are the cards that we have not gone over yet. Label another bag as learning. So these are the cards we work on during the week. And then label the third bag as mastered. So these are the ones that she's mastered so far. Okay? All right. So I'll just put those over there and that one to the side. Okay, now let's go ahead and show you inside here. So level 5, it covers literature, grammar and usage, punctuation, art, geography, vocabulary, and writing. All the books, they come spiral bound. The covers are a thick cardstock. The papers are white. Okay, so level 3 that I showed you, it had an actual table of contents, but level 5, at least this edition, does not have a table of contents. This is what they have for level 5. It's just like the whole year at a glance. So these are the little topics you learn about under the art category, geography category, grammar, usage, and punctuation. And it continues here. And then reading, writing, and literature. So if you need to pause this and look over those so you can see what level 5 covers, pause it and take a look. Okay. It tells you, it does a really good job explaining, everything about this course, things that you need, how to use it. There are quite a few pages telling you exactly how to use each and everything. It's really nice. I also forgot to tell you, let me get it out. Okay, here it is. I forgot to get this out earlier. The set, if you buy the set like I did, it also comes with a daily checklist. And this daily checklist is to use for levels 5 and 7. Okay? It's just, you can see the thickness of it. Every page is the exact same. Okay? Just the exact same. So what this is each day you just put the date here, and the child, they just check off, all the little parts of the language arts program here that they are to do. So each day they're supposed to do sentence dictation, which I'll show you that in a minute. They do ladders or poetry memorization. They alternate days on that, and I'll show you that in a minute. The ladders is just memorizing the states and the state's capitals. On alternate days, they do either geography or grammar cards, and I'll show you how we do that. We just combine them. And each day, they also do a lesson in the course book, and then each day, they do reading, whether it's reading in the personal reader or wholesome books that you own or you get at the library. And you just write down the time that you want them to read, and they just check it off each day. We don't use this. I wanted to, but she just doesn't. Okay. All right. So here it shows you how to use each part. And here it just kind of tells you how everything works. Right here it explains the daily checklist that I just showed you and how to do each part of it. Also, here's a little note here. When the Bible is quoted, it's the King James Version of the Bible that's used. So I particularly really enjoyed that. Okay, it just tells you about their spelling, course level, writing. The answer key to the work is in the course companion. Now, as I mentioned in level 3, there is no answer key, but some lessons in level 3 will actually have the answers upside down on the bottom of the page or in little parentheses or something. But level 5 actually does have a full answer key in the course companion. And it just kind of tells you about how long each thing should take. For about level 5, each lesson every day should take about 75 minutes to complete all of it. When we first started doing this, I will say it probably did take that long, if not an hour and a half, but now it doesn't. It's fairly quick. The reading part on it, now whenever they tell the child to read in the personal reader or in just another good wholesome book to read, they're counting that time in with it too. So see, they put like 15 to 20 minutes of reading. That's included in that. I kind of do that separate. So aside from the reading, the actual work doesn't take too long. Okay, so when we first started doing this at the very first week in February, the first week or two, I was printing it off from online before I actually bought the physical set, and so that's why the first several lessons you'll see that they are blank. Okay. So this is like just lesson 3 right here. You can see that that was short. Lesson 5. Okay, so each lesson is laid out about the same. They have little check mark boxes here. As soon as a child completes each section, they just check off the box. Once the whole page is completed, they check off the page up here. That's just to let them know, kind of like if they don't finish that page one day, to kind of see, okay, I've done these, now, okay, I need to do this. So it just kind of helps keep them on track. So pretty much always, but not always, I think we are on lesson 61 right now. So most of the lessons that she has done so far starts off with reading a lesson in the shared reader, which is this. The shared reader is just a collection of full-length stories or poems, things like that. Okay, so this particular first one here, this is a full-length story called Gabriel and the Hour book. It was first published in 1906, and it's the full story in here. So chapter 1. But see, she starts reading this part in lesson 2. Okay, and then you can see lesson 3. So the whole book is broken down into reading just sections of the book on different days, okay? So that's how, let's see, here's lesson 5. So that's how, this book goes with the actual course book. So what she does is she opens her book and it says read lesson 5 of the level 5 shared reader. So she reads this part here and it looks like it ends there. Let's see. Yep. Okay, so that's all this is. She just reads out of it each day what she is told to read. And we just keep a sticky note right in here and just move it to the next lesson. That way, she doesn't have to dog-ear the pages or anything like that. It's easy just to stick your hand in there and find where you need. Okay, and then they just give some work to do. Every day is kind of something different. And then the writer's notebook assignment, so whenever it tells her to write something, once she's done or while she's writing it, it would go in the 3-ringed binder here. See, this particular section is using commas in a series. And then the next lesson is lesson 6. Okay. And looks like lesson 7 here has some sentence diagramming and some geography of South America. Okay. All right. Also, in the course book itself, there are a couple full-length books within the course book as well. So, like this lesson here, lesson 12, you have your, it's effective writing practice, so she's getting to work on that. And then she's working on reading chapter 4 here from the book Hans and Frida, the Swiss Mountains. So each day, which she reads this whole in one lesson, and it ends over here. And then the next lesson, these here on And here's the next lesson. And then see it picks up with the next chapter of that book. Okay. All right. All right, but this is just okay, but this is just what it looks like. There will be poetry in here. There will be some art and painting lessons in here, sentence diagramming, editing articles, geography, just really nice paintings are in here as well. Okay, all right, right here, see this little art palette here, paint palette. So if this tells you that lesson 37 is an art lesson, and this was about painting clouds. So they just kind of tell you step by step here, how to go about painting clouds on the paper, and they just give you some clouds, I guess, to inspire you. All right. And here was another art lesson where she had to paint this little robin wearing boots, and she did a pretty good job. On this one back here, it was on reading about the artist Raphael, and then over the next few lessons, she sees some of his paintings and she learns more about him and hears more of his paintings. And another lesson, she had to paint a cherry. So you kind of get the idea. It just includes literature and writing, sentence diagramming, parts of speech. Let's see what else. Drawing, painting. Actually, so far there's been more painting than actual drawing. So I've actually kind of liked that. I think that's been good for her. Okay. Oh, and we do the same thing with the sticky note as well. We also keep it in the next assignment, the next lesson. Okay. This lesson, or this level 5, it contains 120 lessons. Okay. So we are we're right at halfway through. So we will continue this and hope to have this done in the next couple of months. And then in the fall, we're going to put her in, I think it's level 8, but it's actually not level 8 like this. It's actually a book studies program that they have. I think it's fairly new. So she's actually kind of excited about that. Okay, so you can see lesson 78 here is a good size writing assignment. She has already written, I think, 3 essays, maybe more, I'm not sure. But each day, they do it fairly easy, so each day, she adds to it. Looks like there's some more painting assignments. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, one more thing before I continue with the rest of this. Yes, this was written, the woman that wrote this, Jenny Phillips, I guess she's Mormon, I guess. That's what I hear. However, we're on lesson 61 in this, and we have not come across any doctrinal teachings whatsoever. None at all. It's just a good moral, character building, Christian value curriculum. Okay, there are absolutely no doctrinal teachings of any faith whatsoever as of yet. I don't see that there would be, but like I said, we're on lesson 61, so we're halfway through. We have not come across any of that at all. On level 3, we are on lesson 60, and we've not come across any doctrinal teachings either. Just good, wholesome, moral, character building, Christian, good values. and that's it. So, so don't let that Mormon thing scare you out of this, okay? All right, so that is that book. All right, and I showed you the shared reader. And the personal reader is just like that. It's just a collection of books that you read. But the child does not start reading this until lesson 63. And they just read in it for like 15 minutes every day until the book is done. And then once the book is done, they just pick up with good, wholesome books that you give to them. Okay? Okay. And now, the course companion. I hope this lighting is okay. The window is behind me, and it's an overcast day. We had rain and storms last night, and it's just really cloudy right now. So I hope this is coming through okay for you. Okay, so this is the course companion. All right, the contents, it contains the ladders, which are for state and capitals. Poetry memorization. It has quick reference, course readings, editing, sentence dictation, and the answer key. Okay, so here are the instructions to learning the state and capitals, and they call it ladders. They call it ladders because this is how it's laid out. So you have ladder 1. Here are the capitals, and here are the states. Okay, so the capital of Alabama is Montgomery. All right. You can see there's ladders 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so there are 10 states on each ladder. Okay, so what you're supposed to do, okay, we do this a little differently. What you are supposed to do is you start with, ladder 1, and you take a piece of paper and you cover up, the states, and the child memorizes. They have, over time, every day you work on it. Actually, you alternate the state and capitals with the poetry memorization is what you do. But a few times a week, they practice memorizing that Montgomery is Alabama. And then once you cover that up and they're able just to go on down the line and say Montgomery, Alabama, Juneau, Alaska, Phoenix, Arizona, and on. Once they do that quickly, then you cover up that side, the capital side. And then for the states, you're only exposing the states, and they have to say, okay, Montgomery, Alabama, Juneau, Alaska, things like that, okay? Well, we started doing that. We didn't even do it for a full week, and then I remembered that I had these flashcards, state and capital flashcards, and I'll show you what they look like here. I'm just going to show you 2. Okay, so I got these cards from Barnes & Noble, and so on these cards, you have the whole country and all the outline states. And the shaded state there is the state that the card's for. So the shaded part is Alabama, and here it says Alabama. On this side, it has the outline of the state of Alabama, and it has the red capital dot showing you where the capital is, and then it tells you Montgomery. Okay, so Montgomery, Alabama. So I already had these, and I remembered about that, and so we just used the flashcards because I thought her seeing the outline of the state and also kind of like where it's at would just be a double benefit. So we actually don't use this paper. We just go through about 5 of these each week until she memorizes them. We do these every single day, as well as her grammar and geography cards every single day. Okay, so that's the state and capital thing. Now, for the poetry, this just kind of tells you, it kind of helps you gives you some tips for memorizing the poems. And down here is like why you should memorize poems. And here, they just give you some poems to choose from to work on memorizing. So she's already worked on memorizing 2 or 3. And once again, we have a little sticky note with the word poetry on it. Okay, so she just kind of does this, about 3 times a week. After we do our cards, I say, okay, now tell me your poem, and she just says it. Okay, now the quick reference here, these are just keys. They just give the answers here. So this is the United States with all the the state names and the capitals. And then this is the countries of South America, North America, and Europe. And that's all, because those three are the ones that they go over in level 5 course book. Okay? And then some terms to know. So over here, it just kind of tells you, if you're struggling with, okay, what is a coordinating conjunction? It tells you what it is, and it gives you an example here of it being used. They have the steps 1 through 7 of diagramming sentences. So I just thought that this book was just a nice thing just to always have for reference. Here it tells you all about apostrophes, capitalization rules, more about conjunctions, comma rules 1 through 4, and then 5 through 7, comma splices and how to fix them, independent and dependent clauses, interjections, prepositions and prepositional phrases, quotation and punctuation, how to fix run-on sentences. So it talks about semicolons. Here's more semicolons, sentence structures, and then these are commonly confused words. Okay, so I really, really liked that. And the course readings, this is something that's kind of special. In some of the lessons, it'll tell the child to read. It may say, open your course companion to page 40 and read about the incredible Andes. And the child reads it, and then there may be some questions to answer in the course book. Okay, so these are very short, and there's not very many. So I think there's only like 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it looks like there's only 5. Okay, and then this section is on editing. So it just gives you some editing symbols and editing explanations. I'm trying to hurry. This video is going much longer than I wanted it to. Okay, and then the sentence dictation. So this is the spelling. Okay. Here it tells you how to do the sentence dictation exercises. It tells you what words are rule breakers and commonly misspelled words, commonly confused words, spelling patterns, homophones, and over here is spelling rules. Okay, so they laid that out very well. Like everything that you need to, do this and to explain it to the child, like why it's spelled that way, is all in these first few pages here. So you don't have to go looking around on the internet or anywhere else to try to explain it to your child. It's all right here. So that was really great. Okay, so there are 16 of these exercises, okay? I'll just go through this first page because they're all laid out the same, okay? So every page is laid out like this. At the top, it'll tell you the exercise. So this one's number 1. It'll tell you the spelling patterns that these sentences are going to be focusing on. So it's focusing on the OA pattern and the suffixes less and ness. It's going to be focusing on spelling rule 1, and that's part of the rule. These sentences are going to have quite a few of the words to, and to. So knowing the difference between those 3 spellings, it's going to be focusing on compound words, and then most of the time, it'll tell you something extra to do. Okay, so in this case, what you do is you read these sentences out loud to your child, and they write them down. After the child has written it down, you tell the child in this case, on exercise 1, tell them to underline the compound word. Okay? Any words, I think you're only supposed to do like maybe 5 of these sentences a day. We actually do between 8 and 10. What I do is I try to get the whole exercise done in just a week. Okay, so, if we're only going to do school for 3 days, then if there's 30 sentences, then we'll do 10 a day. All right. But it just really depends. I'm not pushing her. She's okay with it. She's capable and everything. So it just really depends on what your child is able to do. Okay? Okay, so after you dictate these to the child and they write them down, you check them and just circle any word that they misspelled, and they work on those words throughout the week. Okay? All right, so that's just how it looks. It's all the same. Okay, and there were a few sentences. Let me see here. Okay, like this one here was on this lesson twice. The Capitol building is on fire. Over here, the Capitol building's on fire. So like some of them I crossed out if they done it twice. Some of them I just did not like the sentence, so I also crossed them out. All right, so that's what this is. And there are 16 of those. You can see 16 right there. And then the last part is the answer key. And this answer key is just that, the answers to the course book. Okay? So you can see it's in black and white, and you can see they just give the answers, well, the ones that they can. Now, if it's something the child is supposed to creatively write, then of course they can't give you those answers. Okay, and that is the end of the course companion. Okay? All right. So there you have it. Okay, so let me go ahead and quickly just tell you kind of like what our day looks like when we use this. Okay, so we do this every single day. Whenever we start our language, I get the geography and grammar cards right here, the one that says learning. And then I also get the plastic bag that has the geography cards, the state and capital cards, I mean, for the ones that she's learning as well. However, she's actually done with these. She's mastered, her and her sister both have mastered these, and they're completely done with these. But when we were doing them, we would do this as well. And I would just hold up one side of the card, and she would see Alabama, and then she'd have to say Montgomery, Alabama. Then after we'd done all those cards in the stack, I'd turn them over, and she would only see Montgomery, and then she'd have to say Montgomery, Alabama. And after doing that, you know, all week and not hesitating, I'd put those away and then get out 10 more that she didn't know. So we would do that. And then same way with the geography and grammar cards, exact same way. And then we would do the spelling. We would do the next few sentences that we had to do for spelling. I would say them out loud, and it was the same way for spelling. I would dictate the sentences. She would write them down, and that's how we done our spelling. Okay, and then so those are the things I'd done with her, and then she would open up her course book and do the next lesson in it. And if she had to read, she would read, and then if she had to write, she would write. You know, paint, whatever the lesson said to do, that's what she would do. So it did not take very long at all. She enjoys it. Each day is like a different type of work. It may be geography or grammar or writing or art, you know, painting or just reading. She enjoys it. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and thank you for watching. Bye.